Hey folks, it's Andrew from Gambaret, and today we're going to take a look if we can reduce the flicker from incandescent light bulbs. Now we know incandescent light bulbs do have some flicker. This one's about 10%. It's a brand new Sylvania halogen. And we know LEDs can actually have much less flicker because they use DC drivers. There was even a recent article by the University of Cambridge that said it was going to be the end of flicker with new regulations in the EU, and they're saying that the new regulations will make sure all LEDs in the EU market are lower flicker than incandescent bulbs. So it's really been no mystery to the experts that we know LEDs actually have less flicker than incandescent bulbs, only the cheap ones that still haven't been updated to the latest standards. So now the question is how do we reduce the flicker on incandescent bulbs, assuming you stocked up recently and are ready that the United States is going to ban them soon and a lot of places are going to be banning it, but maybe you really like the spectrum and you want to figure out the flicker issue. Now let's take a look at our LED. This is the waveform lighting LED over here, and we can see the flicker percentage is dropping down very low, down below 1%. So basically the question is can we run an incandescent bulb on a DC current so we can eliminate that flicker problem? And on the left here we do have our DC voltage generator. So I can set a voltage, and I connected it to the connectors on the lamp, and we'll see if we can reduce the flicker. And it does light up with a DC current. The maximum voltage I can do is up around 61 volts, and we know these are built for 120 volts on our AC system, so this would need a little bit more voltage if we can get up to 120 volts to give it the right amount of brightness. And unfortunately, I checked online, there's not a lot of 120 volt adapters because most of them are lower voltage for safety, and for just running LEDs, you don't need a lot of voltage. So this is probably the best we can do, but it's very inconvenient to set it up with this monstrosity. Now this is running, it's got a fan in it. It's really not a practical thing to do to try to upgrade incandescent bulb to run on DC. And we see that flicker is dropped down. If I can hold it steady, it's around 1 or 2% while running on DC, less than 1%. So again, that's really good. We can run these on DC. I just haven't been able to find any adapters, but it's a good step if we wanted to run incandescent bulbs on DC and truly eliminate the flicker from them. Then this is a way to do it. Otherwise, you got to buy a good quality light bulb from Waveform Lighting, and I tested a few other good ones from Satco and Sylvania. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, I have a whole blog testing those out. Also, a quick update, I did some research after filming that there are low voltage incandescent bulbs that you can find on lightbulbs.com or 1000 Bulbs or a lot of online bulb retailers. So I'll order some of those because that will be interesting because some of them run on 12 volts or 24 volts, and I have low EMF, low flicker adapters that I use for my LED panels that I might be able to rig up and run one of those low voltage light bulbs. So stay tuned in a couple weeks when I get those light bulbs, and I'll rig something up and see if we can get ultra low EMF and ultra low flicker incandescent bulbs. But the conclusion for this video is that we can't really retrofit a standard incandescent light bulb to run on DC because there's not any DC adapters that are affordable and available to do this kind of work. So you couldn't use your current stockpile, you would have to get one of those low voltage incandescent bulbs instead. So hopefully that helps. Tune in a couple weeks for an update if we get the low voltage bulbs running. Thanks for tuning in.